Uh, Good day, guys. So today we are taking an opportunity to demonstrate about the key management as a service, and this is a practical demonstration session. And I hope you had an opportunity to, review my last video where I try to demonstrate about, the architecture or the encryption and decryption process for server-side encryption using KMS as well. So in our demonstration, also we will be using customer managed key, and I think you can see the architecture diagram or maybe the process diagram. And so we will be doing the practical demonstration, but I would highly recommend if you had a time, just go to this particular video. And for your reference, I have mentioned my previous video link on the description as well. Okay. So for this particular video, I will be leveraging the command line console, and our test environment is ready. So let us get started. Okay. So for your reference, as always, in the right hand side, I've also mentioned some of the commands you want to refer. However, this is a test environment, and this will be, this environment will be deleted by the time you will be having a look at the video. So I'm not worried about any kind of the keys and all. Anyways, it will not remain valid till then. Okay, so AWS. So we are as a first step, we will be creating customer managed key. So AWS KMS create key description. Let's call it as cybersec node KMS demo. Okay, and the region, I will also be mentioning the region US East 1. Okay. Okay, so I have got the key ID. So I will take a note of this particular key ID because I will be using for the future reference. So just allow me to make a note of this particular thing. Okay. Okay. So the first step is completed. So we have created a customer managed key. Now I will be creating an alias which might help me a little. Okay. Create uh, alias target key ID, and target key ID. I've already made a note of it. So let's copy that. Okay. And alias name, alias name. So I will be giving the alias name as alias / cybersec nerd demo. So we'll keep it same. Okay. And as always, I will be mentioning the region by default, US East 1. Okay, so our alias has already been created. Now the next subsequent step is to generate data keys. Okay, AWS KMS. So generate data key, generate data key, and I will be mentioning it as key ID. So since we have already created the key alias, let us mention it as alias cyber. Okay. So after that, I will also be mentioning the specification key spec, and at this point in time, I'm using AES 256 as an encryption mechanism. So there are many other encryptions. You have a variety of the choice to choose which particular encryption mechanism you want to utilize. At this point in time, I'm using AES 256 region. Let's call it as US East 1. Okay, so I'm good. In the third step, I have generated, the plain text data encryption key and the ciphertext data encryption key. So I will be making a note of it because I will be using it, in a little while. So just give me a time to copy that. Okay, and similarly, I will make a note of plain text as well. Okay, so now what I'm trying to do is I will just try to put this particular plain text and the ciphertext in one of our files. So echo, okay, and I will be putting in the file data key, data key, plain text. This is a plain text, base 64. So by default, whatever the keys that we are generating using the AWS KMS, it's in the base 64 encoding. Okay, .txt. So I think looks good to me. Okay, so similarly, I will put ciphertext as well. Just allow me a little time. This one. Okay, so if I go here, so I'll be putting data key. Just give me a second. Ciphertext again, base 64. The coding will be by default base 64. txt. Okay. ls-lrt. I'm trying to list the files which I've just created. So as you can see, I'm just trying to put the plain text data encryption key and the ciphertext data encryption key, which is in the base 64 encoding. And I've just saved this particular data encryption keys in the respective files. Okay, so now as a subsequent step, we need to change the encoding to the normal format. So we will do that. Maybe cat data key. First we will do for the plain text. By base 64. Let's change the encoding. Decode. Okay, and I will be storing data key, and again plain text, and let's say decoded .txt. So we will again change the encoding similarly for the ciphertext file as well. So cat data key cipher, okay, and base 64 decode and data key ciphertext data key ciphertext decoded .txt. So we have changed the base 64 encoding to the what is understandable. Okay. So the next step is now we have the plain text data encryption key as well as ciphertext data encryption key. So we will just try to encrypt some kind of the random text using the plain text data encryption keys. So let's do that. Echo cybersec. This is just a random text, and we are trying to encrypt this particular text. So let's do that. Okay, open SSL encryption. We are trying to encrypt it, and we are again using AES 256 as a encryption. And for the passphrase, and so I will be mentioning the plain text data encryption key. So let's call it as data key plain text decoded .txt, and so we are encrypting this particular text, and let's set the target file as top cybersec nerd top secret .txt. Okay, so I think we have done that. We have encrypted our text. So now what we try to do is we will try to see how does the encrypted version of our text looks like. So cyber, okay. So I think we can see here on the screen, we cannot interpret this particular encrypted version of the text. And so I think that was the intention. So let's go forward. Okay. So after that, now our text is already encrypted. So since our text is encrypted, and now Alice, we are trying to list some of the files. So if you remember from our last session, for example, once our text is encrypted using the plain text data encryption key, normally our plain text data encryption key is deleted from the memory. This is how the the server-side encryption works using KMS. We will do the similar thing. Here, what we will do here is just give me a second. So I will try to delete the plain text version of our data encryption key, so that subsequently we will be decrypting our ciphertext data encryption key in order to get again the plain text version of the data encryption key. So we will do that. TIR data key and plain. Just give me a second, and it seems all right to me. And okay. It's okay. So I think we have successfully removed the plain text version of the data encryption keys. So subsequently, as stated earlier, we need to get the decrypted version of we need to decrypt our ciphertext data encryption key in order to get the plain text data encryption key. So we will do that. So AWS KMS decrypt and okay. So I think it's okay. File B, and so our encrypted data encryption key, data key txt region US East 1. Okay. So I think in the previous step we have successfully or intentionally deleted our plain text version of data encryption key. So therefore we have successfully decrypted ciphertext data encryption key so as to generate the plain text version of data encryption key. And I will just record it. I will just try to record it again in a file. Okay. So just give me a second. So data key plain text, and as always it will be generating in the base64 format, 64.txt. So again, as we have done previously, we need to change the encoding. So let's do that. Cat data key, and we are concerned about a plain text. Okay, so base 64, let's call it as decode, and we will be storing in data key plain text and decoded dot txt. So I think now we have got plain text data encryption key. So therefore, in the very last step, as intended, we will be decrypting our text if we whatever we have encrypted so far. So just give me a second. Just to make you recollect, I think we have created one particular file and we have stored our encrypted version of the text in a file, cyber no, top secret. So I think you can see we cannot interpret this particular text because it's in the encrypted format. So that's what we intend to do. We need to decrypt this particular text so that we can interpret the text which this particular file contains. Okay, so just give us a second. So let's go ahead. So just before that, I just wanted to see ls-lrt, whatever the files we have created. So I think we have already generated the plain text version of the data encryption key, and we will be using to decrypt our encrypted object or our text file. Okay, so cat cyber. So this is our file. Okay, so this is our file, and maybe SSL, sorry, encryption. So we are trying to decrypt here. AS256 is the encryption algorithm we are using as of now. And now I need to give the file. Okay. So data key, plain text, decoded .txt. So I think so this is the result we are interested in. I think we are now able to interpret the text which we have encrypted at the very first place. So this basically completes our demonstration here. Just to recollect once again, we have created the customer managed key, and after that we had created an alias, and after that we have created a plain text data encryption key and ciphertext encryption keys. And so when we generate our data encryption keys, it will always be in the base 64 encoding. So therefore we need to convert into our default format, and so we have decoded that. Okay, so after that, as so we have also looked, once the encryption happens, the plain text encryption key is automatically getting deleted from the memory. So therefore we have removed that particular files. So whatever the ciphertext data encryption key we have generated, we have again decrypted that particular key in order to generate a plain text version of data encryption key, and we have successfully leveraged that particular plain text version of the key so as to decrypt this particular object, and therefore we are able to interpret this particular text what this particular file contains. So thank you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this particular video, and take care of yourselves till then, and we'll be seeing you in the next. Thank you.